Well, I think the time says 6:30, so let's call to order the January 27th, 2026 meeting of the Town of Rutland Planning Board. First have minutes from January 13th.
I'll make a motion to accept as written.
I'll second it for you.
Any discussion?
Seemed pretty detailed. Thank you, Tamika.
You're welcome.
Out there.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Okay, next item, tri-party agreement, which
We
we
didn't get.
don't have, no. I didn't expect that.
I didn't either, but I figured if I didn't put it on there, then
Yeah.
we'd get it,
Yeah,
because that's
yeah.
Murphy's Law.
Okay, memo from the Charter Committee, which you have in the packet. And actually, they're basically looking as to our ideas on whether planning board should be a 3-year term or a 5-year term. And, hello.
Hello.
Do you have any idea, Norm, how this is written? Has the charter committee sent anything around so we could look at it?
Oh, you mean the charter itself?
Yeah.
there
For
was-
the planning board. I'm saying right now, I recommend 5 years. The longer you keep the person on, the more knowledge that person will exhume and give out. And to me, for crying out loud, it's been, it's been very good over the years. So I keep it at 5.
There's no restrictions on how many terms you can serve, right?
No.
But there again, I don't know if charter has put that in there or not.
Provided that they don't do that, I personally, I mean, I can't argue with the expertise that experience brings to this position and the knowledge that you guys bring to what you do here, absolutely. But I know for myself, when I heard it was a 5-year term, I almost went, oh God, I quit. Like I had no idea at a time, and it's 5 years is a lot. And hopefully we can get the board and the OneDrive and all that kind of stuff to start making a bit of a cohesive, not database, because nobody's got time for that, but information. But I think 5 years is a long time. And when was the last time, other than yourself, Norm, and Tim, that somebody stayed for a full 5-year term? Does it happen often?
In the past, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think,
I'm gonna say
who
it's gotta be you guys
who
and
have we had?
Marilyn.
have we had resign? before
We
the
had
term?
the guy who was
Britton?
bearded, yep,
Is that his
Brenton,
name?
Britton, yep,
Kevin
Britton
Jarvie.
resigned,
Did
Jarvie.
Kevin Jarvie,
Yeah,
uh,
that's been about it.
I mean, if you can hold as many terms as you want, I kinda,
It seems like kind of wide.
yeah.
5 years.
I will say that for somebody with like kids and other things going on and full-time job, the idea of a 5-year commitment would potentially scare some people off, I would imagine, for those who have, enough other commitments in their lives. I would hate to scare people off when they could do 3 years and say, oh, you know what, like I really would like to keep going and I'm gonna, run for another 3-year term.
I don't know, again, I have to go back to experience, to my way of thinking. Your first 2 years on the planning board is just for figuring out what's really happening,
It's true.
and that gives you the best, 1 year of being a fully productive person.
I do think with better records and more accessible records and information, it shouldn't take that long.
I agree with that, and I hope that as we strive to make the board more accessible in whatever way that is, people might get interested and actually show up for a while or watch some of the old meetings and start to learn some stuff. And I'm always ask me a question. I mean, I gotta ask you guys questions all the time, but I find that if you can have as many terms as you want, and you can get to 30 years by either doing 10 terms or 6 terms, I would rather personally see it lower, like Lauren said, because it is such a commitment, and I don't want to drive people away that might be interested when they all of a sudden go, oh, half a decade, like goodness gracious, like my kids are going to be out of high school and everything else, like da da da.
I'm doing 5 years from now.
Yeah. That's just me.
It's 24 meetings a year, roughly, and I was gonna say probably 20, because of all the cancellations and vacations and things like that happen, so. But, it's just like everything else, it flies by. Before you know
I
it,
know, I think, and I don't wanna make this just about kids, but I don't know what sports my kids are gonna be playing in a few years. I don't know if we're gonna need 2 parents to drive on Tuesday nights, and it's just for, I would say younger, I'm not even close to being young, but for younger people, it might be a little more intimidating to commit to something for
I
5
think
years.
that's what it is that it's intimidating, because I don't know what I'm gonna be doing tomorrow. But like, if you ask me, what are you doing 5 years from now, that's a much different question. But that's just my 2 cents. And I think that, is the charter committee even gonna do what we suggest, or is that just a suggestion and they're gonna take it under advisement? Do we know?
They'll do what they want to.
Okay.
what they want.
We'll be up to them.
I mean, I guess in some ways it doesn't matter, you know.
They want some input, I guess, before they, that way no one feels like they didn't ask. I remember when I was, the meetings, they kinda brought it up, they did ask me a little bit about it. And I'm kind of on both sides, 3, is an okay number and 5 is. 5 is sort of the max the state allows, in a way. Obviously, if you could have a planning board that's appointed by the select board and it's just like a permanent position. Like in the city of Worcester, for example, just bigger towns with bigger projects. And then you've got the elected version where you can sit for 3 to 5 years, and I understand kind of both arguments. No matter what, someone will sit in these positions and take on the role of a planning board member. Are you gonna get a better member if you tell them they gotta sit for 5 versus 3? I don't think it's gonna change who runs, I guess. It just kinda goes to like maybe if they feel they've done enough in 3, there's no need to keep going, or if they feel they want to obviously get to 6. I think it's, I think for you guys being on the board for as long as you have been, I think it's a lot easier to run 5 years at a time in the development that the town's been at. I think I can understand why it seems kind of like not treacherous, but and not that it feels, a 5 year feels like a burden, but it can seem overwhelming. I don't think it should hinder someone if it was 5 years. I think you should run regardless. I think it just seems easier, definitely in the past, to be able to sit for 5 and have it work out, cause it's just, like you said, 2 years is learning, 3 years is applying. Even though when you're learning, you're still applying your opinion and your decisions on stuff. I honestly, I don't have a strong place to go.
It kind of runs counter to my argument, but it does run counter. I think a lot of this also will ride on whether or not we have a town planner. Cause without a town planner, I think the 5 years is definitely one of those things. But I don't know that we're in a position for that right now. But I think that once that does happen, then 3 years is, you can get spun up, you can have time with the town planner and stuff like that, but with that in the mix, that's a hard decision to make.
We certainly cannot count on having a long-term town planner. Just look at, the numbers that we've gone through
Yeah.
in terms of that, and I think that's kind of gonna be the case almost forever. So, and you got your planner in, and, okay, yeah, all of a sudden, your new planner, and now they're just getting used to what's happening,
True.
in town.
Learning everything,
Yeah.
starting
Everything
all.
and so forth, so.
We can get to that when we get to it later in the agenda. I didn't mean
Yeah.
to muddy the waters, I just
But
was
no,
thinking of
it's,
that.
it's another thought. I'm just kinda curious, cause now select board is 5 years.
I was gonna say, yeah, what are most,
They're three, I think.
There are 3. All other elected and appointed boards are 3, with the exception of the RDIC, which is 5 per MGL.
Really?
And us, right? Are we 5?
We're set at 5.
Correct, you're the only one. All other
Okay.
elected and appointed are 3.
So,
Through the chair. May I?
yes.
I'm looking at the draft charter document right now.
Can you say your name, please?
Thank you, yes, I'm sorry, I'm Heather Butler, I am the town administrator, thank you. The reference that they are making in the charter for planning board is simply that there shall be a planning board consisting of 5 members, each elected for a term of 5 years, arranged so that the term will expire as, and that the associate members shall be appointed for a 3-year term. So that maybe addresses the concern that if you're looking to serve on the planning board, but you may not wanna make a 5-year commitment as an elected, there is the 3-year option, I guess, as an associate, to see how you feel about it.
Thank you for bringing that up. Because Tim is not here, our alternate is,
Oh, yeah.
she should have voted.
Yeah.
No,
no, I don't think so, I think,
Only on special
Only on
permits.
special permits.
yeah.
that's all?
Yep, that's all.
Only when a supermajority is needed.
Super
That sounds
majority.
fun.
That's too bad, in a way, because, how do you keep Tyson them and keep them in here locked in? Because they can vote. You hear that?
True.
Because I wanna hear her 2 cents. I know we will anyways, but I mean, when you vote, you usually, just say why or whatever, and
Mhm.
I think that's very important. Okay, thank
You
you.
can just kick Keith and make him vote one way or another.
Jesus.
You know, but again, the appointed person, even though if you're not allowed to vote on something else, you're allowed to speak at full on it, and it does help having
Oh,
someone
yeah.
else's opinion, so.
Absolutely, absolutely.
In the way you're putting it, yeah, it kinda stinks they can't, hammer down a vote for the minutes and stuff. But still, there's definitely, good ideas coming from everyone, no matter, and I know we tried to get an appointed position just cause we were missing quorum sometimes, and we don't wanna hold a project up or get it into that constructive, what's it mean when it
Yeah, constructively approved,
constructively approved, which kinda locks it into a different,
Yeah.
which actually, we haven't had that problem since.
no, yeah, you're right,
You know,
yeah.
And
anyway,
that's a good thing, you don't want to get the word out.
yeah, so, I
Okay,
don't know,
well,
Yeah.
should we, I don't know, I'm assuming they want an answer. It appears that 3 of us are leaning towards a 5. And,
Yeah, probably Tim is 5, I'm sure.
I
I
think
know.
3 makes it more accessible, but without a town planner, and we'll get into that talk later, but I think 5 is allowable right now. I don't think that's a bad thing. And are we a mix of 3 and 5 right now? Or are we all 5s across the
All 5.
Just Lauren's 3, just
Yeah.
as a pointed.
Yeah, the only difference
Alternate.
is that Tim is serving the end of
Right,
5-year
right.
term, so it's,
Yeah,
but
and I
yeah,
know, I talked with Tim, I forget, a few days ago, after this memo came out,
Yeah,
and I know he is solidly for 5 years,
okay.
so.
Yeah, then
do-
my vote doesn't really matter, but I could go either way on it, like I don't have a strong feeling against it,
I
is I
think
guess what I'm
I'd-
saying.
Just as soon as we're gonna send a memo back to them, we could say it was not unanimous, but there was a majority.
Yeah, I could go for 5, I mean, I don't have real, you can say it's unanimous, I don't have a problem with
okay.
it,
Yeah,
I really don't.
Do we really need a vote, or can we just take this as a consensus?
Consensus is fine.
Consensus?
Yep, I'll put it into a memo.
Okay. Okay, active subdivision reports. Okay, I've lost it somewhere. Oh, I had it. I didn't see anything exciting on it. Oh, here we go. From Quinn Engineering.
Yeah.
Which, considering the weather, I don't really think very much is happening.
I know they've been getting ready, it doesn't say it on here, but, they've been getting ready to cut in. Tamika, can you help me out, what's that other road that they haven't done yet?
Hilltop,
No, through Bear Hill.
oh,
They've done Quail Run, and then there's another one.
Bear Farm Road.
Bear Farm.
Bear Farm Road, they've brought in all the heavy equipment for that. So they're, I don't think he wants to keep that sitting on his site for a long time. So that will be underway soon. I've spoken with Kevin about the retaining ponds, some of them have been open, some of them not, cause my concern was that from the pump station all the way through the rest of Grizzly Drive towards Brittenell, there's no drainage on any of that that's been put in. And we talked about that a little bit. I don't think that we can require that at this point per Kevin. That's part of the phasing. But I did make note of that with him, so that we were kind of on the same page.
didn't we claim they were paved over or something like that, so.
That happened, I think, on Arrowhead.
yeah.
They paved one over and had to dig it out. I guess it's not super uncommon.
But I thought
He's had to do it before.
down at Grizzly, he says they're covered right now and they'll cut them later. So
Okay.
it would be nice to know officially that they're there, or even just have them marked, but, maybe they're gonna wait forever to do it. But it is tough to see all the water not actually get diverted, have it just run off the roads, but he'll have to repair his own.
Cause the silt fences are falling over and everything else, you can see it
Yeah,
when the
two
snow melts it a little
crossings,
bit.
you mean?
I would think Concom, usually they're been out there, I would think, for inspections. Anything to do with silt fence.
Right.
It's their, duty to enforce,
I would just like to see, like Keith, I'd like to kinda know, just cause seeing all that stuff, it gets my brain going, and I'm like, okay, so where does this water go and all that stuff.
I still don't quite understand why they don't open them right back up again.
yeah,
If they pave over them, they gotta know they were right there, and they are there at the time.
Yeah.
When before they roll the asphalt, they can just scrape it off.
yeah, exactly.
It doesn't make sense.
Put bags in them if they're supposed to have a silk bag in it
Yeah.
or something, or,
So,
yeah.
like I say,
My other quick comment would be that area, I know you always bring it up, is the rail trail.
Yeah.
Would that just come off between 2 yards? Or- do you guys-
He had it, going between two houses, but there was no easement to the best, there might have been, because I think it was where the detention pond was out back, they're supposed to have the trail go around the top of the berm and then head off towards the rail trail. Now,
Just something.
I've asked them
Yeah,
multiple times, hey, when you
When
guys
you
with
put
the
it in.
excavator, make the trail all the way to the trail. you know, so that it's connected.
Yeah, get some trees down and get it.
Then can we make note, I guess, on the minutes for next week to talk with Kevin about that trail, to connect it and make sure that we're keeping tabs on it as it goes along so that we don't lose track of it.
Yeah,
If Kevin knows about it, then he can at least see if they've made progress with that, and if it's something that we have our eye on.
Is that the one in Bryce that you're talking
So,
about? No.
no?
Britnell,
Britnell, okay.
yeah, and it was something that was a special
Is it in the conditions?
in the condition, a special condition.
Okay,
It was a connection to the rail trail.
If you find it, can you send it to me?
I can.
Thank you.
Just for the minutes, can you guys remind me the date on that memo from Kevin?
This one's January sixth.
January sixth, thank you.
Okay,
What did I, yeah,
anything further on that?
once. No, that's something else. It was. Right, I know I had asked, I said 3A in here, active subdivision report. I asked Norman, is there anything else out there that maybe he should be looking at? And that's why I put down here, special permit like agritourism. Here's where if we had a town planner, somebody that he could, or she, be involved looking up and, making sure that any of these special permits, time hasn't run out, or they're up to date. If not, give us a listing. Way back, I've asked for, there's a lot of special permits that were
Just
issued a
charts.
long time ago,
Charts forms.
and I know they've gone by. It's just,
Expired permits, you mean?
yes,
Even?
yeah.
Okay.
And were they to satisfaction? Don't know. And that's one of the reasons why I think we need a little bit better handle on special permits,
Yeah.
to keep track.
Yeah,
So, and I just mentioned to Norm, agritourism is one that's out there. And at the moment, I will say no more about that.
is that a one-time thing, or do you keep,
I don't know,
No, there's no expiration on it.
yeah, so once you get one, you're in, okay.
but
I believe
You-
those are site plan approvals versus special permits.
you should read it,
Tourism,
because then there
Yes.
are certain things that have to be met.
but it is site plan review, not,
Site plan.
not special permit,
Okay, site plan.
which would mean that it definitely does not expire. So however, if there's any significant change, it could, maybe need to be modified.
Yeah, bring it before the board and update
Yeah.
their site plan.
But the concern is that we need some sort of a chart, spreadsheet, what have you, that says when these were issued, when they expire, and I guess whether or not they're still active.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that would be a good idea.
And we definitely must have some special permits that have just plain expired because the business is no longer there.
Yeah. Maple Hill. On Maple Ave? Was that Maple Hill way down here?
Yeah,
Is there anything special on that one?
there's a conservation restriction,
Yeah,
so it must be open space,
there was open space,
and there was a conservation
and I
restriction.
also made sure that there was a sentence put in there. The town had the right to go logging, I believe. But
That I don't recall.
I can remember asking for it to go in there a long time ago. Did it? Don't know.
Which one's Maple Spring or Hill?
Maple Hill.
Head down Maple Ave,
Yeah.
before Schultz, left-hand side,
Teresa Drive.
Oh, okay.
Teresa Drive,
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that was Blair's or
Yes.
land or something.
7, 8 lot subdivision,
Yeah,
something like that.
okay. Yeah, it's got a cul-de-sac.
You know Sure, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Have any of the prior town planners ever been tasked with that special permit inventory? Okay, I was just asking because I didn't know if there was something I could maybe see if something existed.
And, well, this is, I guess, something that just, at this point, is kind of driving me bananas. Because we've had, I don't know, let's say 4 town planners. Each one of them seems to have their own idea about how to file things and keep records. And at this point, and I think Tamika, because you had to go looking for
It's
stuff.
so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to
Sometimes I
admit
give
that-
up and I go to the town clerk
Yeah.
to see if I can get it.
Yeah, what I mean, it's, everything is
So
just a mess.
disappointing.
You know, you know, even, and I'm gonna make a big thing out of a little thing, okay? You know, Tim is hopefully gonna get us a couple of flat files for plans,
Oh, yes, yeah, that's
Okay.
right too.
because for some reason or other, space-wise, that didn't work out. We had some flat files, they were sold off, they were auctioned off. All of our plans, and this is, you know, we're talking plans, stack of papers this thick, okay, full size. How are they being kept? They're folded, crunched up, and stuffed in a file drawer,
Yeah,
you know?
But someone's gotta refold every time they look at it.
Yeah.
As opposed to taking out
Yeah.
the magazine holder almost sort of thing, yeah.
pull it
So-
out and just
Yeah.
look at it right there and just fold it back down and push it back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
usually they're in a
it's-
cabinet that's
Yeah.
like 4 foot wide each drawer by
Drawers are like
3 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the drawers are only like
Yeah.
an inch or two, but you can fit a bunch of them in there, and then you pull them out so that there's no
You can just
creases or
stare
anything, 'cause a
at
lot
it.
of them are
Mhm.
vellum
Tim-
or whatever.
Right.
That's what Tim is gonna get for us,
Yeah,
He's gonna
Okay.
so,
find some loose
couple of
ones
those.
or buy them.
yeah,
They
he,
used, he's got.
Some of them fell
some,
off the
some
back.
guy had him up for sale and it was so,
Like that.
Cheap, you had to buy them,
Yep.
yeah.
Where are
Exactly.
you gonna put these?
In the planning board office,
planning board office.
or the planner's office.
This room.
TA's
that they-
office.
They were,
No,
well, I think, yes, they were in there at one time. That office was then going to be used by an additional person,
RA, RH or whatever.
once again,
Conservation agent?
conservation
conservation agent.
agent,
Yeah,
which never came to pass. So there's, you know, and I was saying there wasn't enough room if the conservation agent was gonna be in there, but there's no conservation agent, and I haven't even heard
yeah.
even the thought of getting one. So now there is space to put the flat files.
We may wanna take a look at that space before we make the purchase. I was just in there this afternoon and I'm not, flat files that those are pretty big. So let's just take a look at it before we do that, because I know there's no room in the annex anywhere else. So they would have to
Yeah,
go
no,
in there, but we'd have to take a look.
Have you taken a look at the other side of the large room over here, Blair Room, in the back where there's storage? If they move the storage stuff over, there's just enough room in there like this for an office for the planning board? Separate entrance, don't,
Velvet rope, the whole thing.
We'll talk to the library trustees about that.
Yeah. Good luck.
they'll charge us plenty, but
Anyway,
a lot of room for thoughts.
Yeah.
Can I go back to the special permit and site plan review and those various things? You know, whether they're active or they expire, are there also kind of ongoing like terms and conditions to some of these things that theoretically someone should be like, are you still
Well,
doing the thing that we gave you a special permit for, the way we said you should?
that's why I asked Norm, is there anything else we should have
I mean, I think I know where you're
Kevin to,
going with the,
yeah,
I mean, do you review every 3 years? You know, do you say, we gotta just send someone out there with the clipboard? Just say, hey,
was it done or not?
mm,
You know?
yeah, did you actually go through with the plan?
Yeah.
Or, you know, is there anything major that changed that you haven't notified us of that we can at least control?
there were some that I believe we did include language in the special permits for periodic review.
Mm.
As far as how many years, I don't recall.
Yeah,
It's okay
But
if
I
it's
don't
open
know if
ended.
it's all of them.
okay.
I'm sure there is in every one of the special permits, language that if there's a significant change in the activity,
Mhm.
that they had to come back to the planning board.
Okay.
Okay, is that being enforced? Yeah, is no more than 2 unregistered cars on the lot being enforced?
Yeah, right.
Sorry,
Dream on.
yeah,
Okay.
it's,
Yeah, you can't keep an eye on everything and, you know, if someone's doing something in the building, I mean, it's gonna get noticed one way or another, whether, it just depends on how it gets to the planning board or a different department.
most all violations get heard when there's a complaint.
Right, right.
And
But,
not,
you
and
know,
not
if we
until.
had kind of a database of these, of when they were issued and what they were for and are there terms and are there periodic reviews and what's that period, is
Yeah.
it set? You know, at the very least, you could look through it and say, oh, these ones we're supposed to be looking at every 3 years. Have we looked at any of them? When's the last time somebody
Yeah.
did that?
And it'll certainly be nice to have a spreadsheet
Yeah.
and have someone to print out the
Look at
spreadsheet
it.
and say, hey, this is the quarterly report.
Exactly,
You know.
yes, yep.
Yeah, it's not gonna be Kevin on these, it's gonna be a town
Oh, yeah.
planner.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So, you're right.
Which we will get to.
Mhm.
Okay, anything
All
more
right.
on this one? Okay, 53G. Draft policy, which Tamika has written up a proposal, or whatever you wanna call it. A draft for a policy, which, I guess, first of all, and I think I've already asked you this, did you go to town council to find out if policy is sufficient to protect us on this?
No, because I did not wanna do that until I had a consensus and permission from the board, cause if it was
Okay.
something you were like,
Yeah.
we're not interested, I didn't wanna expend those
Okay,
funds.
okay. Um,
But from everything that I could find in MGL, it sounds like there's the option to either include it in your subdivision rules and regs or have a separate appendix type policy.
mhm.
I think ideally you would want it in the rules and regs, but until you got to that point, this could potentially provide like a little leeway.
The thing is, this, if we want it, we can adopt it tonight for that matter,
Mhm.
because there's no public hearing required for a policy.
Do we know that there were issues with our 53G account? I know George said there were, but did we actually like look into that?
That's what this is. Generally, it's,
I
To
looked
me,
through
is
the
a temp-
policies
Yeah.
and
I
there
looked
really is,
through.
it really doesn't speak to 53G at all.
yeah.
It doesn't
Subdivision.
speak to our processes.
Subdivision regulations.
So we should amend it, we should okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
as she noted in here, we do have language that says essentially like, we can ask them for money to use for other reviews at our discretion, et cetera, but it's not.
Tighten it up.
It's not in a
Explicit.
larger document spelled out. And they, the way they brought it up was a way to say, hey, you don't have anything to govern it as far as we'd be legally able to argue, so, I mean, they sort of set us up to say, go in and, if you give us language to operate under, we'd be more than happy to work with it.
Yeah, I mean, they,
I
Those
think,
were-
I was gonna say, they brought it up a long time ago, the letter that we have from September brought it up in a less polite manner, but yeah.
I know what you mean.
Okay.
To me, I think number 5 should have one more part of a sentence. And/or complete shutdown of said project.
Sure.
I mean,
What's the point of doing it if you can't review it, right? And have
If-
an engineer look at it.
Yeah.
Exactly, it kinda covers us, cause we almost got into that situation where it was like, well, now we can't afford an engineer, cause he's not gonna replenish and.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's, if we can put that in there, that prevents a
because
lot of issues.
that just it puts a heavier shoe on us that we can step on somebody and say, hey, smarten up and fly
How
right.
did you word it though? What did you say?
And/or complete shutdown of said project.
With the last,
To the last-
to the best of my knowledge,
Yeah.
we do not have the power to issue a cease and desist order.
That would have to come from our rules and regs.
building inspector does it. but-
I think that might need to be in Mass General Law.
Cause I
Allow us to do that.
to allow us to do that?
I was in the understanding that planning boards in some areas do have enforcement authority. And that it wasn't written into our rules and regs that way, and that we
It's-
could
yeah.
update it, but that was my understanding.
It's possible it could be written in, but I know it's not.
Okay.
And that's, that's definitely number one. And I'm still not certain whether we, even at best,
How the teeth
you,
work on this.
you've gotta take a look at what Mass General Law says about planning boards and the powers that are granted to the planning board.
Well, let's ask the town planner to do that for us.
Anyway,
Oh, my God, okay.
Well, like it says here, failure to replenish escrow account may result in suspension or review, inspection, processing of related requests, but would he stop building? No, he would just keep going and you'd be like,
But
You
he
have
does that when
things-
DEP tells him to stop too, so
yeah,
there's
no, well,
not.
that's what I'm saying, it, even though you have it in there, is it gonna? Not that stopping anything is really the goal, it's just like, it's part of this tree of life for subdivisions, you need money for our engineer to review that it's being done right, I mean, obviously, we wouldn't accept the road, for example, that was a condition that the select board wanted, they said, he needs to replenish this amount. And why should we accept a road for him if he's not gonna, and eventually he did fulfill it, but it took a while, it was a stalemate kind of for a while, but I mean, I think that's further down the road where, that's where the hangup happens if say anybody wanted to not repay punish funds or anything like that. I mean, unless they're gonna sell the project to someone else and they're stopping in their own right, or.
Well, therein lies the problem though, that like I think we need to make sure that we find as much teeth as possible, because we've tried writing letters, we've tried that stuff, and we either get ignored or laughed at. And from what I understand, as far as selling these projects off, the main developments that are happening wouldn't really be taken over by a lot of other people. They're very steep, the building is extremely challenging, it's not really the type of lot somebody's like, oh yeah, let me take this subdivision off your hands and like, go ahead and do it. I really just want us to find as much, not power, but like the ability to really stick to what we say and have that enforcement authority, because otherwise it just ends up him screaming at me to shut up and then we kind of move on.
I mean, it's still a good outline. I still think it's a good document. Yeah, I guess it's another one of these, will this happen again the same way, or, and it's just.
It's a pattern
add
of
to it.
behavior.
I guess my question for Norm would be, do you have legal look at it at this point, just to make sure they bless it too? Do you feel it's good enough?
Is legal good? Are they land
Yes,
foot
you're right.
legals
Yeah.
or?
We have specific attorneys for land use.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have different attorneys for different topics.
No, they should have the expertise to be able to tell whether this is a good outline.
A lot of it, I got a lot of it from MGL. That's really where a lot of 53G lies, is MGL, and this is more just documenting it for the town's purposes. Ideally, we're writing it for all developers and not just with the mindset that one developer probably isn't gonna listen to it, But I think town council will be able to tell us where we can put the teeth in and where we don't have a right to. But at least I just wanted to give us a starting point for a discussion, because Norm had said, he wanted to look at that.
And we know that any developer could have their lawyer look into this, but we know it's gonna get looked into, so I think it definitely has to go to legal.
Yeah.
Which
I think you did a wonderful
Legal,
job putting it
let's
together.
see.
Thank you.
I think they know how, oh, wait a minute, maybe they don't. Never mind. Moving on.
I guess the only question that I would say is where it still, it looks like the ultimate would be to get this written into the subdivision regulations,
Yes.
okay? Do we wanna move straight ahead now with this? Adopt it
As a policy.
as a policy, then, this sounds backhanded, sorry, but, okay, adopt it, okay, as a policy, send it off to legal, when they bless it, then we chuck it into our subdivision regulations. All I'm saying is, and I don't,
Minor
I don't
changes.
see that there's a real rush here, okay? But by the same token, we can adopt this, have it now, as a
It's in
policy,
for-
or wait 2 months until we get answers back from legal. And, well, I don't know what they would do with it. And then get it into subdivision. And again, once again, to get it in subdivision, we do have to have a public hearing. And that's what, 1 month process all by itself.
Before spring town meeting, if
So,
anything.
well, it doesn't have to go to town meeting.
Okay, yeah, it just, yeah, it
It's
gets
just a public
accepted by a vote, another
But
vote. in
that's,
front of a-
that's another month's time. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean,
I think
don't-
it's worthwhile.
I don't see why not, and you could, any adjustments, you could reapply to the policy,
Well,
we've already,
if legal gets a hold of this, they're gonna make adjustments.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They have to justify sending us a bill, so they're gonna make some adjustments.
Well, then we can include that into it, ask them where they would put it and all that,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, I'd love to see replenishment of this tied somehow to the tripartite agreement, cause that,
Ooh,
well, I know it, you probably can't do it, but that money is the only thing that's an effective string to pull.
Now, in number 8, the closeout of the escrow account,
yeah,
it doesn't, you know, is it here or where is it about the hanging on the 10% for 1 year,
It's true.
That's,
okay.
I think that's the
Pardon?
surety.
That's in the
Yeah.
tripartite.
10%, that's separate from the
That's
This is review fees.
Right, and so,
Okay.
and this wouldn't be returned until final bond release, so presumably that's after the 1 year period
Okay,
where
yeah.
10% is held, and then everything's final,
That
and then
makes
we
sense.
say, hey, here's the rest of your stuff.
All right,
I think it happens.
Okay,
make a motion to,
well, there was somewhere, hold on just 1 second. Come on, fingers, what?
yours too, huh?
Yes. Let me see. Okay, I'm just finding this is on the second page under capital B. Okay. It says the planning board may require an initial escrow deposit based on the anticipated scope and complexity of the subdivision. Okay, and, the thing is, we generally use our fee schedule
To generate.
to generate the amount of this 53G account.
So it's a lot, the number of lots.
It's the,
Yeah.
so for example, for definitive plan, is $5,000 plus $500 per lot.
So we can change that to pursuant to the fee schedule. Would you
Yeah.
rather that?
I think that would be a little bit better wording for it. Okay, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's the only thing I really saw. That, you know, I'm not gonna say what's in there was wrong,
No, that's fine.
but I just think that it might be a little bit better, more clear.
Yep.
More clearly stated.
So that's usually money we don't get to keep compared to other permits.
Right,
When we
Right.
get that and it goes into a kind of a
Right.
general
Yeah.
fund. It's kind of going out right away to a subdivision review.
And the fee schedule also says that we can require fees in excess of the schedule if we think that they're necessary, so if we
Yeah.
thought that it should be more, we could
Yeah.
always do that.
Well, that's kind of the out for, and,
For
you know, this is just beginning to get very routine, where these projects are just taking so long to complete.
Mhm.
You know, even with normal inflation, the initial fees don't cover it. And I don't think there's any way of adjusting our fee schedule
Match inflation.
to match it. It's just as long as we have language in there, that if the funds run out, we can require more.
Can I ask the board's thoughts on setting a minimum balance in the account at which funds would be requested, and then what that minimum deposit has to be? Cause we currently don't have that. I try to just use my best judgment,
Yeah,
but I don't have anything to fall back on if I get pushback.
yeah, I know.
Do you have any idea, let's say when Bryce Estates and Grizzly were going at the same time, on like a monthly basis before we would send out the bills, how much would that bill be that we would be sending out for people? Like, would we need $4,000 to cover the next month?
No, so the average bills from Kevin are anywhere between $600 and $800,
Okay.
and usually when it gets down to $1,500 is when I would reach out, cause I knew it was gonna take some time to get the money, and I never wanted our vendors to not get paid.
Right.
And historically, the at least John, the prior planner, and myself have been asking for a replenishment of $5,000 at a time. So, but I'm just wondering if we wanna memorialize some language in there that says, here's your minimum balance, here's your minimum replenishment.
And
That'd
it
be
doesn't
smart.
necessarily have to be a dollar amount, it could be a percentage of what the initial deposit was, you know, when it gets to
Yeah.
20% of what the initial amount was, then they have to pony up.
Or you have X
The rest
number
of
of days to pay it,
Right.
because sometimes when it takes a very long time, the account continues to dwindle during that time. So maybe just setting something for us to fall back on to say, well, but this isn't our policy type of thing.
Now, obviously, if you don't use the 5,000, say it's the tail end of the project, you're gonna give it back to them.
Gonna give it back.
Yeah,
Plus interest.
so then. It's not like locked away, you know, that don't have to. I mean, if the engineer spends it, he spends it, but. I think if historically you've been asking for 5,000, Tamika, I'm not opposed
That's
to
what-
it.
Spencer, like that it is
No, like
approved.
it's an interest bearing account.
I got you,
so,
alright, yeah, just so we don't make anything, I got you.
Just wonder what's gonna be in the future.
Well, you're just gonna
5,
burn through it quicker and quicker.
Yeah, I
right?
know,
That's
yeah.
the idea.
Yeah.
I guess it's like, it's no different than at the end here where it says failure to timely replenish. I mean, what does the developer expect if there's no money to have it, that town's consultant for review, you know?
So,
I mean, you give them the freedom to replenish it, but, you know, it can't just take forever to, you know, hopefully. I don't know if you need language to just say, hey, it's gotta be within, you know, a revolving month.
Well, I think, you know, when we request that it to be replenished, there's a timeline for that, you know.
that I can definitely see. But I'm just looking at, you know, all kinds of scenarios.
Small, big projects,
And,
you know, is 5,000 too much for some projects, is that what you're saying?
I'll take Bear Hill 2 that was just accepted. That, you know, if that thing got down to, let's say, okay, a $1,500 balance. And now we say, oh, you've gotta give us 5,000 more, even though the
It's only $200
total
worth of-
anticipated possible costs are not more than $2,000.
True.
But they're gonna get the money back,
Well,
so,
I also think that if we set rules for ourselves, but leave leeway to say, you know, if we don't think they need to put that much in, so we could say, you know what, actually, it's probably only we'll just throw 1,000 in here this time. Like, we're not bound to request 5,000 every time, but we're allowed to, I think is.
So to Lauren's point on Bear Hill 2, I had asked Clea to replenish just enough to pay the outstanding bills and to leave a little bit of a buffer in the account. So I did not ask him to do 5,000. But I would say that account had been depleted for a very long time. that at some point, if 5,000 had been put in there, it probably would have carried us through, depending on when it was requested. But maybe we could put language in there to state, depending, subject to the progression of a subdivision, or at the discretion of
I
town
like that.
staff,
Nice
or
I like that, I like that,
some, a little bit of leeway in
Yeah.
there.
good.
Just a thought though,
Oh, it's-
I don't mean to interject but I'm just
Glad you
thinking,
did.
I'm thinking out loud,
Yeah.
so.
It's good. I like that.
Okay, timeline for replenishing. Due date.
I would say
30 days.
Do we,
I would say 2 weeks, 30 days, but if it is 30 days, that's fine, but you need to make the replenishment amount enough that you can make it the 30 days if they don't have it. Like if you're like, oh, we've hit the 1,500 mark and here we go having 3 more engineering reviews to finish it out. You've got a month to get it to me, but these need to be done now.
I might hesitate to put an actual timeline in the policy. I mean, it currently says a reasonable deadline. I might be more apt to leave it with that kind of a language, because for certain projects, it might need to be next week if we've got a bill that has to be paid. Or for certain projects, 30 days might be totally fine. So,
Well, normal billing cycles are what, 30 days? Aren't they?
28 to 30.
Usually they're net 30, yeah, yep, and then we have a warrant cycle every 2 weeks.
I don't wanna lock us into things
complicated,
if we feel like, I wanna leave it detailed enough, but not lock us into things that we may regret in the
It's not a bad
future.
idea, but there are times that I remember Lee was having problems getting cash and so.
Well, how about, like I say, I'm just trying, that's, keep things sort of moving here. I still have in my mind adopting this thing tonight,
Yeah,
okay? But adopting this tonight, with all of these questions that have been raised.
Yeah.
Can then go to town council.
Mhm. Yep.
Review, for us to then put it into subdivision,
Comfortable with that.
how's that?
Okay.
excellent.
Aye.
So moved.
So just to clarify, we're gonna adopt the policy as it's written tonight, but then the other topics we discussed, I will bring to town council, and then we will incorporate them into the subdivision rules and regs.
Along with this.
Along with this,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Anything further on this one? Okay, do I have a motion then to adopt this as a policy?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have a policy.
Nice.
Let's see what happens.
If we have other questions or notes on this draft policy, should I just tell Tamika? I mean, it's nothing big, it's just like, should this be clarified, should this be whatever?
Absolutely, if
Okay.
you have additional things, just shoot me an email.
Sure.
I'll wait until next week to reach out to town council,
Okay.
just to give you guys time to get back to me.
Okay.
And then I'll send them one big email with everything
Okay.
in it.
Okay.
Okay, next item, street map. Oh my God.
Yeah, this is all DCRs, this is Fisherman's Road. It was also in the Berry Gazette as Fisherman Road, the cop, not State Park Road.
Yeah, I was looking at that, I'm like, that's it.
And there are little things all over the, here and there.
Okay, where are we going with this? There's,
Plus,
okay, obviously what Jake has, outlined on this.
and this is the second time it's come back with this stuff in here, so in my opinion, they didn't look at it.
If you give them a bulleted list.
And to me, for crying out loud, it's getting to the point where it's taken from Central Mass, handed over to, I don't know how busy, someday I'm gonna talk to Justin, how busy he is over there. EMTs, the firemen and all that. If they got some time to go over, because who travels the roads? They do. And I would love to have their, what roads are private, what is not. And also in the listing of stuff, I also want the scenic roads in there too, with a different color.
Color code.
But to me, for crying out loud, how many times do we kick it back to Central Mass to get it fixed?
We're gonna run out of LPA hours.
And to me, it'd be nice somehow if we could keep it in-house maybe.
Okay,
But before I leave this planning board, I would love to see a planning board sign off on a map of all the years, 30-something years now. I've gone to Anita and Sally Hayden, Irene, and so many others, it seems like. Where's your listing of roads, your certified listing of roads? And laughed at. No, from now on, I want to see this listing. I don't wanna go through the headaches that we've gone through. That a certain gentleman and I are gonna be seeing the new TA next week. So, anyways.
I mean, I guess you get to a point where is it acceptable enough? Or is it something you would refuse? Cause there could be a point where it's like, without these changes that are essentially detrimental to the map if they're not there, I mean, you don't wanna have the final version to be.
If we do send it back again, we need to really
They're looking
pick
for
it
more money, more time. And that's
Well, I
what,
just don't wanna see it come back again without you having them had made the I can't speak English tonight, but without having them make the changes that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Cause honestly, I don't drive and I've only lived here for 2 years, so like this map, I can't really pick it apart, but this is that 30 years of experience and growing up here and all that.
But I mean, for as long as I've lived here, which is going on 40 years, there's a lot of this that, I'm not that familiar with.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess like every squiggle here, you gotta put in a bullet point.
Well, yeah, and
You do, and you have
Yeah.
to say what's wrong with this.
can you write it up as a document?
know.
alright, I'll see what I can do.
You'd have to just A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, 4
No,
subsection.
this one really, Grandview Ave, have you ever heard of Grandview Ave?
Sounds very regal.
Where?
It's at the end of Muskapog, is that the road that leads to the pump house down there, is that the idea?
The dam,
Yeah.
not the
So-
pump house, but the dam,
Damn.
Norm, if I may,
and guess
I
what?
will say, this
The
went
town
back
doesn't own
and
it.
forth with the town clerk's office several times. So I would say whatever Dick has, I would make sure Anita gets a copy too, cause this information that he got came from the town clerk's office.
Okay. So, anyway, you can bullet it out?
I'll do the best I can.
Okay. And
You know,
I do have to agree that color coding would be nice. I'm assuming this was not done on a color printer anyway.
It was, but I chose black and white cause I'm saving some dollars.
Okay.
But yes, in real life, it's color and on the website it's color.
It is the map in color?
The map is in color, but it is not color coded by public versus private.
Okay.
Hmm.
For our next meeting, could you print out a big copy?
Yes, so he actually, Matt from CMRPC stopped by a couple weeks ago and he printed all of the extra large copies and I put them in the planning office. So we do have those, but I can print you out like an 11 by 17? Is that what you would
It would be nice
want?
that we'd have something to look at here.
Okay,
to
I'll
make
do
it-
11 by 17 for the next meeting then.
Okay, and we, I don't know, are we agreed with Dick that, for example, private roads should be color coded? Let's say, regular town roads in black, private roads in red, and I've got to go
Scenic
with
roads and,
green,
okay.
yes?
Yes.
Do you wanna differentiate between accepted private roads and non-accepted private roads? As far as like what the town's plowing and that sort of thing? In case there's questions, or do we have that somewhere? We have a list of that somewhere, don't
We
we?
have a list, so maybe we could add it as an appendix to the
Okay.
street map if anybody wants to reference it. There is a list of those roads.
Anyway. Okay,
It's interesting to know that, I mean, there's a lot of roads there, but they're not very long. There's just a couple ones that do traverse the whole town, and it's good.
anyway,
It's nice.
These are beautiful roads.
okay.
And the one over by Alex, did you see Arrowhead Way?
I did.
And they showed the one that goes from Arrowhead down to.
Yeah, it doesn't
No.
connect. I was looking at that. It doesn't connect
It's
to
not-
Arrowhead on the
yeah,
map,
it's
and
not a road.
right, it's a driveway.
Driveway.
Yeah.
Used to be a
so-
driveway.
Yep,
Yeah.
so anyways,
As a matter of fact, if you have a less than totally updated GPS and
Yeah.
you try to leave Brittenell Drive to get out to the center of town, it takes you up that hill.
oh no.
Probably get a lot of packages, just
I don't know
random
what
packages.
mapping service you're using.
Okay.
Very thoughts on what's
TomTom.
the road. People that try to drive past Richard's house because the
Yeah.
internet told them to
Yeah.
is shocking to me.
Okay, next item, town planner, update on the status of town planner position. Which we are lucky to have the person who is gonna determine that here, sort of. And I suppose I can give an update, but I
I
think
mean,
better.
we spoke, we were on the same page, I think.
And I guess at least from a pretty extensive conversation, can I call you Heather?
Of course, that's my name.
Okay. Heather is absolutely on board with us having a town planner. She, and I guess is coming from an exact opposite situation where she previously worked in terms of their desire for a town planner. And I'm certain that we are all dying to have a town planner if we possibly can. However, as she said, we're not gonna get it until the end of this budget cycle. And it makes perfect sense to me. And I don't know
I appreciate that.
Hmm?
I appreciate that. That's the only time today I have heard that I've made sense, so I will
No,
take that.
it
So
does.
just to sort of build on that, so in West Boylston, I could not convince the planning board to support the addition of a town planner's position. I was able to get a town planner's position job description approved by the personnel, but really without the drive and the support and the push from the planning board to support it, I couldn't get it even to the select board to put on a town meeting warrant to fund the position. So that being, and of course, they have Route 12, they have that, they have development all along there that is crippling for traffic concerns. So if there was ever a community that did not embrace what a planner could do from a bigger picture, and they really felt that their building inspector should be the individual who sort of supported planning board and zoning board at their meetings, and the building inspector certainly had different thoughts on that. So I really do intend to think between now and May as optimistically as possible, and certainly with your support as you're grocery shopping and having coffee with friends and neighbors that vote, that supporting the select board's bid for a Proposition 2.5 override that closes the $3.1 million gap. A town planner's position is just one of the positions that would be saved with that override. And to Norm's point that when we talked, you know, I think it would be really sort of, I guess, cruel and unusual to onboard a planner in January, February, with the understanding that come July 1, there's a potential that that position wouldn't, you know, be sustained. So, I just feel like it's the responsible thing to do. I'm sorry for the timing of it, because I know that if the position was in place, you know, if there was a person in that, if there was a person in that position now, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But the timing is just not on your side. So, you certainly have my support. I hope that you'll help me get that get the word out, because there's a lot of, and it in my mind it goes beyond supporting planning and zoning. I mean, there's a whole RDIC initiative. There's the economic development component of this. There's your forestry stewardship project that they could be involved in. I mean, there's multi level projects that a planner can support the town as well as the town engineer. So let's get it done.
So just to
Back
look,
off a little bit on forestry, give that to the Ag Commission, period. Don't get anybody else involved. Don't forget trees or agriculture.
Thank you.
just a little bit for clarification. You mentioned that basically what the proposal for the override is that there are gonna be 3 different options.
There will be a 1-year proposal, a 2-year proposal, and a 3-year proposal. Depending on the the desire of the voters, whether they want to deal with an override every year for the next few years, you know, we can bring it back every year, or if there's a element of trust that we can build between now and May, where voters would support a 3-year plan that keeps us out of your pockets for 3 years, or you know, and really sustains a level funded services until 2030.
See, that's a to me just a big thing
Yeah.
for stability.
Yeah.
You know, if we're looking for a planner,
Well, it's a,
and I'm not necessarily advocating for the 3-year.
I am.
I personally think, I mean, this, I've gotten up and spoken against us spending money at town meeting a couple times. We spend money like it's water at those things. 180 grand for a new snow plow, and then this for a truck, this for a street sweeper, there's another 6 figures, like, it's crazy. Do I know that I can afford to live here for the next 10 years with a override? I no idea. But I think the town does need it, because I have to, I mean, in full transparency, I've had this conversation with Heather already, but I fully agree that this position cannot be something that we hire somebody for that they might then be able to lose, because you're not gonna get an attractive candidate with that. We can't have another strike on our record where we have a short-term planner, because then we're never gonna get anybody good. But I do agree that we are in a crunch right now with all this stuff. I wonder if there would be any type of funding for maybe like an admin or something to help get some of these things, like this chart or of the different stuff going, or if we could flex somebody's hours or something. I just don't wanna completely be, captainless for a while. I think, Delia's expertise and knowledge was very helpful when it came to stuff, and I couldn't agree more that a planner is what we need with all the development that's happened and balancing that out and all that. But is there a way that we can try and buoy ourselves a little bit in the interim?
Well, right now, we're putting the FY 26 appropriation towards Tamika's time, so that she is able to give you a little more support.
Without her, we'd be lost. Like, cause we went from nothing, or no, we went from John to Delia and now nothing, and the only rudder we've had has been Tamika. Well, our chairman, but Tamika keeps us informed.
Rudderless. Rudderless.
So then for me to think about.
I appreciate that.
So,
But other than that, I'll be beating the bushes for your
I
3 year.
appreciate that. Yeah, the tiers will be 3.1 million, that buys us 1 year. 4.2 buys us 2 years, and a 5.4 will buy us 3 years.
see,
And
that
that-
sounds like a bargain.
It does, I mean, the way, it also only works if we can, as a community, hold our spending to a 3.5% increase for town services and a 6% increase year over year for schools.
Schools is the-
That, otherwise the math stops working, and we cannot, even with a $5.4 million override, it will not allow us to meet the commitment over 3 years.
We
So
will eclipse that.
That's really where we're sort of having to, as a community, hold each other accountable to that, to those increases that are sort of prescribed and within that formula.
Town needs to make money.
Well, that's where a town planner comes in, right? I mean, the economic development opportunities that we could start considering, you know, having a planner work with us on that is important. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
yes, as a support to the planning board, but also as a support to myself and to those that are looking at the revenue side of things and economic development, so.
Which, you know,
It's all the things in the past that didn't happen. Had they happened, Rutland would be in a lot better position than they are now.
No.
don't.
I'm not gonna say it, no,
Yeah.
I will not say it, but she'll hear it.
No two numerals.
Nope.
I don't wanna hear it.
Anyway, that's my spiel.
So,
And mine is, it's too bad the town of Rutland could not build a roundabout because the state's gonna be paying $7 million for a roundabout down the road here in a couple of years. How could we do that and pay the town?
yeah. Anyway,
We need some freebies.
Yeah.
right? Free services.
we need the state to come up with some more money. That's what we need.
It's a tough
They-
sell.
They don't do that.
They don't.
you know.
They're facing all of the same increases and challenges that we are with the indirect costs for their employees and staff. I mean, it
And they
it
got
is
their
not-
federal funding slashed, didn't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so they're water from a stone right now.
Yeah.
Do you know if we're
So-
supposed to get any cannabis money? Every year the state's supposed to disperse revenue generated from the cannabis industry back to small towns.
Especially where we grow it
Kinda like the
and sell
lottery,
it.
but I don't know if there's a way to say if we are getting
That
any
was gonna
money.
be my question.
It's just included in your under, unless, well, the Rutland has their one host agreement, so there is the sales tax revenue from there.
From just the.
The broader cannabis tax is sort of included in your UGA, your
Okay,
just your general
yeah,
revenue.
general
Do you
fund.
know,
Okay.
so we have a grow up,
Same as the lottery funds.
Yeah,
we have a grow up in town, but I believe it's not up and running, at least the last time we heard from them, which was, I don't know, a couple months ago. Does the town also make a percentage on cannabis grown in town or just sold?
No, it depends on your host agreement, and yes, yes.
Okay.
The short answer is yes. I haven't looked at the grow-up facility.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And what the terms of that are, but.
I was gonna take a stop down there. I haven't yet. I really should, but see where they're at.
I don't know, from at least what I kind of heard around is that there's a pretty good chance it isn't gonna happen.
Really?
The money just isn't there. Anyway, that's nothing official.
Somebody's
Yeah.
paying the rent.
So that's town planner. It looks to me like, we've got someone on board who is gonna be a good cheerleader for it. And we just need a little bit of patience. We did talk with, Tamika about the extra time that she is putting in for the planning board, and she's willing to continue and do whatever is necessary. Yes, bow your heads, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Wow. Can you
So,
send me the contact info if you have it for those two gentlemen that were here about that grow operation, so I might be able to give them a call and check in and see where we're at, so that I don't.
Supposedly, they're supposed to contact the planning board when they're ready, and we're supposed to
Yeah.
have our final tour through there.
And I think they were waiting on something with National Grid. So if they're still waiting on that,
Something about their generators, I think.
yeah, I'll see what they have to say. I know a few people from National. I don't know that it would help at all, but I can root around a little bit and see what I can find out.
I know you, if you don't mind, I know you mentioned Tamika doing extra hours. Have you ever requested for side help, just extra hands in the office to split
No.
up the work? You're not too,
I've
Buried, right.
been able to manage it.
okay.
And if I ever got to a point where I couldn't, and I felt like I couldn't fulfill that responsibility, I would raise a red flag, a white flag.
White flag.
Maybe a red flag too.
Yeah,
That one first,
but-
just in
please.
case you
For
needed
right
extra
now,
people.
it's been okay. We've been pretty slow on the application front. We've only had those couple A&Rs since October.
Yeah.
And then the rest has kind of just been the fill-in work with the street acceptance stuff, but things are kind of on the downturn now, so I think I'm okay. But
Red
thank
flag
you for,
first, then white flag. Don't
Yes.
give up on us.
right now, it's a green flag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for checking in, Keith.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure and keep, cause I mean, I'm sure we should find funds if it comes to needing just extra people that run computer work or volunteer work, you know.
We had the one resident from the end of Brittenell and Palmagussit that was willing to like help us scan in
Or something.
like plans and digitize them, but I think there was some issue with it not being an elected position or something like that, but I thought we'd figured out that it might be all right for her to help us out with those things. Does anybody remember that?
Well,
I think Amanda
it
would.
wasn't for digitizing, it was just for labeling and organizing.
Okay, all right.
We did have a resident through the senior tax work-off program that had come in when John was here and tried to organize the paper files. But we have never gotten to a point where we've digitized anything yet. I think the hard part is that when you bring in a volunteer, there's a lot of training time involved and kind of deciding what you want it to look like, how you wanna set it up. And it's hard to do. I feel like that's probably best done by a town planner since they're the ones that are gonna be using those files, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a great idea, but it's probably something we should wait for the next person to decide.
Town planner with long-term employment.
I guess I better start
Okay.
buying scratch tickets again.
Yeah.
A donation.
Okay, next item, master plan, update on status. I don't think we have any kind of updates.
The reason why I asked to be put on, because I wanted this thing done before I'm done. I'd like to have my hand signature on that master plan. I'd like to know, number one, where is it?
The state,
You say the state, ooh,
I don't know the specific person that has it. Melissa Danza could tell you.
You ever seen Indiana Jones, the Ark of the Covenant, and they have that big giant government building way off in the middle of nowhere, and there's just boxes and crates everywhere? That's where it is.
Well, could be.
well, the whole thing of it is, for crying out loud, that this thing started, matter of fact, it was 2023 town report I was looking through, and it had a whole bunch of things on there about the master plan. I says, oh my God, here, rub it in. This thing was supposed to have been done a long time ago. and it hasn't. And I just feel that I would love to see the thing done and get it forward.
What
But
part
the-
of the state, what like
Yeah.
department?
Yeah, is there
What-
somebody that we need to,
I'm sure I can find it in my email, so it's the division that is reviewing the open space and recreation plan.
Okay.
And the open space committee is waiting for those comments to come back because CMRPC has advised we cannot finalize the master plan without the approved open space and recreation plan. So that's why we're in limbo right now. I can get that info for you, I just don't know off the top of my head because I wasn't directly involved.
but it seems like they've had that master plan for maybe since I've been here, so going on a year.
It's at least 2 years, you know.
Well, I don't know that the state has had it that long.
Oh,
The state only has the open space and rec plan, not the master plan.
Well, we've been waiting on that open space part for,
Yes.
Yes,
yeah,
yep,
and that was-
absolutely.
I think there's maybe a combination of problems there with the committee, and the work that they were doing as well. But hey, that's what it is.
so then do we have?
It would just be nice to, at the very, very least, when it was supposed to be the 2024 master plan, I believe.
yes.
Okay, and then it was gonna be the 2025, I'm just hoping that it will be the 2026 master.
Well, I'd like to, I mean, Dick's been with us for 30+ years on this board. I'd love to see you sign that bad boy. I mean, are there any action items that we can put down as far as?
I think so.
No.
Just try to get a hold of them, just say, just put a little star on there to, you know, kick it into gear.
I'll follow up.
I
I'll
think
follow
you
up with
can.
CMRPC and with the Open Space and Rec Committee.
I
see
think
where
that's a
we
good
stand.
idea.
We appreciate that.
No problem.
Thank you.
It's hard
Okay.
when you have volunteers that are tasked with such big responsibilities, you know, and then if
yeah.
sometimes you need staff support to keep it rolling, you know?
Yes. And I was on the open space committee and I just couldn't spend that much extra time being on the stuff at home I gotta do. No, it's all I
I hear
can
ya.
handle.
Okay, next
And I
item.
don't wanna use up any more red ink than what I do. Oh, God, okay.
Okay, next item, Earthworks Board, we're gonna,
Yeah,
in
the-
problem.
that really bothered me because Lauren, being an alternate, doesn't get a chance to vote. Now, Tim isn't here, and to me, for crying out loud, she should have filled in for him and been able to vote. Good night, we'll see you next week. Yep. And, I think it's next week.
What's
next It is. week?
Yeah, okay, Thursday,
Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay. Anyhow, getting back to me, I thought Lauren should be, and when she fills in for somebody, she should be able to vote. That's why an alternate,
But I'm
But
not,
it's
I mean, I'm not
appointed,
an
not
alternate, I'm an
elected, it's-
associate.
associate. Or even
Yeah.
still,
I mean, don't get me wrong, I wanna vote, but.
yeah.
Yeah.
The challenge is the way that the bylaw is written,
Yeah.
is that it states that they can have a voice, but that they can't vote unless a supermajority is needed.
Yeah,
That's the challenge.
again,
And so I hadn't even thought of that when you guys nominated Lauren last time, and then it was brought to my attention and they said, you really can't do that because she's not elected.
Well, she will be, hopefully.
Well, then maybe somebody can step in just for this little time.
Yeah.
I mean, it did ask for an at-large member, wouldn't that, how does,
So technically that seat is filled,
okay.
but we have had no contact with that individual. But unfortunately, we can't fill that seat until her term expires.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Which is why which is why, for all intents and purposes, there's one member and it's Glenn.
Yeah, it's just interesting, an at-large member, it can be just a member of the public, and they can be granted, the seat, the vote. But then you got a person who's been appointed, and you can't
Yeah.
use them. I understand how it doesn't make sense that it locks them out of this opportunity.
That's correct.
yeah.
I don't
agree.
disagree.
But yeah,
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 that's a tough
interesting,
spot.
But I can still see kind of the conflict because, you know, the law is still saying it's a 5-member elected board.
Yeah,
So
so they must come from an elected,
from
elected
a
position.
legal standpoint,
yeah,
it kind of makes sense. From a practical standpoint, no, it doesn't make any sense at all.
makes it harder.
The Conservation Commission brought forth a member, Tim Keenan. So he's slated to be approved at Monday's select board meeting. And the Board of Health met this evening and they were gonna talk about who their representative would be. So we're moving in the right direction to hopefully having enough members to seat and they can reconvene.
So right now, Lauren was going to do it, but Lauren cannot do it because she is not an elected member of the planning board.
Somebody else
Correct.
has to.
Alright, I'll do it. I mean, I.
If I'm elected in May, I'll take over.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was to say where at the time, I don't know, but it sounds like right now, there's not a
Doesn't
time
need a
commitment
lot,
right now.
right?
It's dirt, it's everyone's favorite subject.
Yeah.
Well, it's more for the purpose of them being able to meet if they need to. I will say, this is not gonna help with Clee's project because the bylaw doesn't speak to importation, it's only exportation of soil. So whether or not the board decides that they wanna start working on the bylaw, but even that, I think we talked last time about looping that into more of a bylaw committee task.
It needs to
Now
be
that
done
we have
though,
one, yeah,
cause
so-
importation with knotweed and everything becomes extremely
Sure.
dangerous and detrimental to the environment.
And has anybody read Holden? Have they got something in their rules and regs that says they cannot deport dirt?
I would think they do, but I've not looked.
I think that
But that's where the dirt would be coming from.
it's coming from Holden, so
Yeah.
therefore I would ask the town of Holden,
Yeah.
hey, has he got the right to send that
Good
dirt out?
question. Can we ask them that question?
It's probably on their website. If they
Okay.
have a bylaw, or it would be on their website.
Yeah,
And then the biggest, once again,
Golden
you
dirt.
have to remember that
Yeah.
these earth removal bylaws that were originally written by these towns were primarily to protect topsoil.
Yeah.
That's all,
Not fill.
okay?
Right.
Because in, the eastern parts of the state where they were building and they were looking for topsoil for lawns and all that sort of thing, they were coming out here and stripping our farms.
Yeah.
Topsoil. So that's why the laws that are on the books
Yeah.
are pretty minimal.
and there
The-
again,
Little
The
updating.
other thing is, the Earthworks board, which I was on, and I do not wanna be on it again.
Should have said that 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Let me know.
We got about 90% of the way through writing a new earth movement bylaw. So it's there.
Okay.
Glenn's trying to track it down from Peter, so you guys don't have to start from scratch.
Peter from historical?
No, Peter Crane,
Okay.
who used to serve on the committee.
And I've looked on my computer, I do not have any copies of it. He didn't tend to share that way, that much. However,
It's pretty meticulous at what
who
you
was
delete.
the other member that was on,
Kate?
Katie,
We've not been able to reach her,
no?
no. She's been kinda MIA for a while now.
Okay,
Glenn Coppola is on it.
yeah.
Yeah, Glenn didn't have it. He stopped by last week, but he was gonna reach out to Peter Crane to see if he could get a copy of it.
Yeah.
But I
Worst-
don't know where he landed.
Worst case scenario, we can do kind of like what we did with the site plan review and borrow from another town to make kind of an outline and go from there and make the changes that we need. Cause now I feel like the most important thing with importing earth is that invasive species and stuff like that.
But there, I'm all of a sudden thinking of Holden, and what has Holden got? Holden Trap Rock, who ships everything out from their quarry.
Aggregate, yeah.
Would the board be comfortable making a motion to recommend Alex, just so I can write a letter of recommendation?
Also move.
Second,
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Lucky.
Wait, what if I had voted nay and then you guys had just voted over me?
and I'll go with it.
Is there any other business to come before the board? I'll entertain a motion.
I I just wanted to touch real quick on last week. I think, maybe it was last week, it was 2 meetings ago maybe, I was on Zoom. And the behavior that is tolerated from Mr. Blair, I just don't know what to do with it. He, had said that this, that, and the other had happened, and I simply said that shows a pattern of behavior, and he said, "Shut up, Alex." And I feel like when we allow that to happen in a meeting, it sets a tone for how we are allowed to be interacted with and the intimidation that people are allowed to try and bring to bear with us. And I feel like we need to try and nip that in the bud.
I have talked with him about that,
Okay.
certainly.
Alright.
Should make him
And,
say his name and his address before he
kinda-
yells at you. Every time.
Probably everybody around the table knows that he was trying to get rid of Noble Hill, to sell it for $6 million, but nobody wanted to buy it,
Right.
and it's too bad. And it's too bad that DCR hasn't got $6 million for crying out loud, that they can't buy it, because it's right on their watershed. And it would've been ideal.
You think 6 million's too high? Obviously,
No,
no one wants
I-
to buy it, but,
Not
I
that-
mean, is it
oh,
fair? Is that a fair?
I would say it's probably for,
I mean, selling it as a
everything-
complete project, too.
it's a complete project, gone through all the paperwork and everything else. It's, I have no idea what he paid Mr. Fales for the property way back when, but the value of it, it probably has gone up tremendously.
Yeah.
So, especially now, I keep seeing the land across the street from it for sale. See what happens on that. And that's another thing I'm gonna be pushing like crazy is, I need DCR in the watershed to protect their land very, very much so, because I don't feel they're doing a good enough job. With that said, Norm, how about if we, say, time to call it quits?
Looking for a motion.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
8:02.